Thank you. Senator Markey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to talk about the Trump administration's cuts to the Federal Aviation Administration's workforce. Over the last few months, the Department of Transportation has twice sent early retirement offers to its employees and then attempted to fire its probationary workers. In total, more than 1,000 FAA employees either accepted the buyout or were probationary employees that the administration tried to fire. I understand that the Department of Transportation exempted safety-related positions from these personnel moves, but these reductions can still severely impact FAA operations. For each of the witnesses, how many employees in your respective offices either accepted the buyout offer or were fired probationary employees?
So right now, the process of accepting the deferred resignation program is still in process, so we don't have our final numbers at this point. As you mentioned correctly, our safety critical employees were accepted. So within aviation safety, that meant our inspectors, our engineers, doctors.
So how many have accepted so far?
I don't have those numbers at this time.
Okay, could you get me the numbers, please?
We'll find out what we can get.
Okay, that's what I need. Yes, Mr. McIntosh.
I was going to echo Ms. Baker's same comments. We're still waiting for the DRPs to be exercised, but again, our safety critical position.
No, I appreciate that. How many, no, what are the numbers for the employees? Do you have that?
We won't have that number until after everyone has time to either accept or decline the DRP process, which we have not hit that deadline yet, sir.
Okay, what's the deadline?
Is it May 5th? Is it?
The deadline would depend on when each individual received their agreement to sign. Most employees have a 45 period.
A 45-day?
45-day period after that.
Oh, so we're coming up pretty close to the end of the deadline, huh?
Yeah.
So
But as with any personnel,
Senator,
as with any personnel matter, we'll need to take that back and see what data we can, to make a determination what data we can provide.
yeah. Did your offices each conduct an internal analysis or risk assessments of how these workforce cuts will impact aviation safety oversight? Did you do an internal
So I would say
analysis?
for the Office of Airports, we are watching that very closely as the,
Did you do an internal analysis?
yes, we have done an internal analysis and we're working across regional or geographic boundaries when we see a need to make sure that we are providing the same level of service to our airport sponsors and to all of our
Will you
customers.
provide that analysis to the committee, please? The analysis that you've done is in terms of
again,
the impact.
I
Have you
need
done
to-
that? Have you done that analysis? Do you have it?
Yes, we have done that analysis. Again, with any
Okay,
personnel matter, I would.
Please provide that analysis in terms of what the impact is of any of those cuts on aviation status. Just so we'll have that. The same for you, Ms. Baker. Can you do that for us too?
We've had conversations around how we will fill critical vacancies.
Do you have data, though? Do you have data that you've developed? in
At this
terms of
point,
the
we don't have
analysis?
final data.
Okay, please send that to the committee, Mr. McIntosh.
No, sir. We have not done an internal analysis. The Air Traffic Organization has been fortunate as the largest number of our individuals are safety-exempt employees, and the ones that aren't are going to be, majority will be needed for continuity of operations.
All right, well, again, send us the analysis in terms of the support people, in terms of what your conclusion is in terms of their role in safety. And I do support cutting fraud and waste and ensuring that the department is operating efficiently, but the Trump administration is forcing agencies to blindly cut their workforces without regard to merit or experience. They aren't targeting probationary employees because they are the least efficient or effective. They're targeting them because they're the easiest to fire. They actually might have had a good role, an important role to play. And given the tragic crash in Washington, D.C. in January, and the recent air traffic control outages in Newark, now is not the time to be taking chances with personnel levels. We can see the chaos, confusion growing and growing month by month since Trump has taken over. And finally, earlier this year, I asked Secretary Duffy a written question about whether he would convene stakeholders to discuss raising the wages and benefits of airport service workers. These workers are the unsung heroes of our aviation system, and I was pleased that the Secretary agreed to bring together a group for such a discussion. Mr. Hybeck, are you able to provide any update on the Secretary's commitment to convene stakeholders on this issue?
No, I'm not very familiar with that issue, and I'll need to circle back with you if that's okay.
Okay, I need you to do that, if you could, as promptly as you could. Appreciate that. And in terms of my law last year, that included my legislation with Secretary Vance that banned family seating fees. Under our bill, the Department of Transportation is required to issue a rule prohibiting airlines from charging parents a fee to sit with their children. Can any of the witnesses provide an update on that rulemaking?
I'm a mother. I have 2 kids. This one means a lot to me. This is something that is being managed by the Aviation Consumer Protection Division at the Department of Transportation, and we're happy to facilitate any kind of communication on that.
Yeah, I think it's very important for the agency to update the committee. That's a very important issue, and again, I did that issue with Vice President Vance, and so would love to see those protections go into effect, and helpful to hear from the Department of Commerce. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.